everybody, welcome to my homestead and welcome to my channel. In this video, it looks like New Mexico um, essentially just broke its own record for the largest wildfire in state history. It's the Calf Canyon Hermits Peak Fire. It becomes the largest in New Mexico history at nearly 300,000 acres, which is crazy because just recently a couple months ago, we were talking about a big fire in Texas. Now, before I read any of this about the New Mexico fire, um, you see it right here. This is this is on my channel, and you see this the title or the title of this article where it says Eastland Complex Fire is now the largest in Texas history. So that's why I was reporting on it. But when I went back to do the research for this video, it looks like that's changed, or maybe that wasn't accurate. But you see it right here on the screen. When I clicked on this very same link that I put in the description of the video, it looks like they changed the title. Now it just says Eastland County Wildfire Takes Life of County Deputy, Destroys 40 Homes. But the link up here is still the same. Eastland Complex Fire is now the largest in Texas history. So what I ended up finding was on this article from cron.com, it talks about how that fire this year, it surpassed, I guess, a really bad fire that they had in 2011 called the Bastrop Complex Fire, which was the most destructive. But down here you can see Texas A&M Forest Service has put together a list of the state's largest wildfires. And when you look at the list, they almost had one that broke 1 million, but that was in 2006. East Amarillo Complex Fire, 907,000 acres. So, and this Eastland, the Eastland County wildfire, it was only like 45,000 acres. So, whoever did this article, well, I'm not going to name any names, but this appears to have been wrong, or they didn't, I don't know. When you go down here, it says the Eastland County Complex Fire is larger than other fires in Texas history, including the devastating Bastrop wildfire in 2011, which was 34,000 acres. And you remember when I was doing this video, I was like, oh, okay, well, 45,000, that's not really a whole lot when you compare it to like California. So now it kind of makes more sense. I think that that article was just wrong. Here's an official list of the largest wildfires, and that was not one. However, in New Mexico, as long as this article is correct, it has now had its largest wildfire in state history. It says the growing Calf Canyon Hermits Peak Fire has become the largest fire in New Mexico history, burning 298,000 acres. Officials said the blaze burning east of Santa Fe is 27% contained, with 2,015 personnel working to contain the fire. Officials said Monday on a Facebook page, providing updates on the effort to quell it. So it's a sign of the times. Anytime that you have something, I think, that's record breaking, and it's these things that have to do with nature, I take it as a sign of the times. So let's take a look at this map, the ArcGIS U.S. Wildfire Activity Map. Here you can see those two fires right here. This one on the south side is the Hermits Peak. It's at 288,000 acres. And then Cook's, wait, that's not right. Cook's Peak, oh, I guess it is. Cook's Peak incident is at 59,000 acres. So, yeah, it's a lot of acreage burn. So New Mexico is on fire. There's a couple other ones here. Cerro Pilado incident, 45,000 acres. Bear Trap incident, 13,000 acres. You look at the rest of the country, not a whole lot going on. Although I expect that during the summer months, most likely out here in the West, it's going to pick back up. We'll see if it's as bad as it was last year or previous years. There's one in Arizona, Crooks incident. It's at 9,000 acres, but 96% contained. So, so we have this going on in New Mexico right now. Okay, record-breaking wildfire right now. If we go over here, well, first let's look at the drought map. You can see that the drought is most likely uh, creating the conditions so that there could be this record-breaking wildfire. There's a lot of dark red in red here on this map. It's a drought monitor. This is as of May 10th, so this is 6 days ago. I guess they haven't updated it since that time. But you can see that, you know, the West and the Southwest and Texas, it's not looking good as of right now. Although, look at Missouri. There, there, there isn't any coloring at all in Missouri. There is in Kansas. Um, at least like the eastern part of the state looks okay, but Missouri is all clear. In fact, according to this, let's see, Missouri, the only states that don't have any of this drought going on is Missouri, Indiana, Ohio. I see a tiny bit in Kentucky, so I'm not gonna. So Missouri, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York State, and Massachusetts. No, Connecticut and Rhode Island. Those are the only states that don't have any coloration whatsoever on this map as of May 10th. So anyway, and this is probably most likely going to get worse from everything that I'm reading, so we'll just have to keep an eye on it. There's this map right here, Zoom Earth. This allows you to kind of see well, it lets you see a number of different things. Right now I'm looking at hotspots. All these orange dots right here are hotspots. And so you can see New Mexico right here, right? They even have the little icons for the fires that are going on right now. So Texas is pretty warm going down here. Now, I'm not going to comment on this. There's a ton of heat here in Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras is really hot, but I don't know if this is normal or not. I haven't seen any news stories saying that anything unusual is going on in this part of the world. So, there is a lot of orange right there. Looking at Africa, in the Congo, in Angola, it's really warm, a big, big area of heat. But again, I haven't heard anything about that. So, but what I have been hearing about is over here. Look at India and Pakistan. India and Pakistan. There's a lot of heat here. And I've already covered this a little bit a little while ago. So here's an article, Scorching Heat Roasts India as New Delhi soars to 116 degrees Fahrenheit. Another brutal heat wave has much of India in its grasp this week and is causing temperatures to flirt with all-time records. All-time records. AccuWeather forecasters say a brief break in the heat may be in sight for the nation that has sweltered since March, but it may not stick around for long. So, and here's like a video here showing like a water cannon mounted to a truck or a vehicle, cooling people down, motorcyclists. Let's see, Bloomberg, what it's like to live through India's nonstop heat wave. A diary from New Delhi on a recent day when the city of 19 million struggled to cope with killer temperatures. Large parts of northern and central India are bracing for more days of brutal heat, with temperatures forecast to hit 50 degrees Celsius or 122 degrees Fahrenheit later in the week. That's hotter even than the searing 43 degrees Celsius heat on Thursday that scorched the capital city of New Delhi. All right, so here's that. And then times of India. Now, we've talked about wheat because there's interesting things going on with wheat right now. We have two countries that are two of the largest wheat producers in the world at war right now, which is Russia and Ukraine. So wheat is taking a hit, but also I think both India and Pakistan. You know what? I might as well just pull up that list again. Top wheat producing countries. This is from worldpopulationreview.com. So India is number 2. India's number 2. Russia's number 3. Pakistan is number 7. And Ukraine is number 8 in terms of wheat production. And we have this crazy heat in Pakistan and India, a war between Russia and Ukraine. And so that's not good. That's not good. It says the wheat export ban. India's extreme heat wave having ripple effects on world's food supply. Prompted by a severe heat wave in most parts of the country that has cut harvest prospects, the announcement marks. Oh, I missed a thing. New Delhi. In a surprise move, the government banned export of wheat, thereby pushing up prices to new record highs. Prompted by a severe heat wave in most parts of the country that has cut harvest prospects, the announcement marks a policy U-turn by the government. The ban is also being seen as a measure to control rising domestic prices. Retail inflation hit an 8-year high of 7.79% in April, driven by rising food and fuel prices. Okay, ripple effects. In other words, India's heat wave is having ripple effects for the world's food supply. Wheat prices have risen more than 60% this year, driven up by disruption from Russia's invasion of Ukraine. India's announcement drew sharp criticism from the Group of 7 industrialized nations, or the G7, ministers meeting in Germany, who said that such measures would worsen the crisis of rising commodity prices. So let's see, heat wave hitting production. India's wheat exports hit 8.7 million tons in the fiscal year ending in March, with the government predicting record production levels, some 122 million tons in 2022. Yeah, I'm not going to read any more of that.
The warmest temperature of 2022.
Whoa. I'm talking, ma'am. Excuse me. This is my channel. Northern Hemisphere feeling the heat as Pakistan hits staggering 51 degrees Celsius. According to the Pakistan Meteorological Department, PMD, the temperatures were far above the average temperatures they typically see in May. In Jacobabad, for example, the average highest temperature in May is 43.8 Celsius. Well, that doesn't really, according to, okay, whatever. Okay, so there's that, and then one more. This is Vox. The extraordinary heat wave in India and Pakistan explained. For India, this past April was the hottest in 122 years and followed the hottest March on record. The hottest March on record for India. For Pakistan, it was the hottest April in 61 years. Jacobabad, I don't know, Pakistan, already one of the hottest cities in the world, saw temperatures rise above 120 degrees Fahrenheit. The sweltering weather has reportedly killed at least 25 people in India and 65 people in Pakistan, though the true number of casualties is likely much higher. Even birds are getting heat stroke. Okay, so the world is literally on fire right now, and it's also really hot. I've speculated on the channel. As far as climate change goes, there's different narratives about what's going on. I tend to think that, if anything, it's simply the Earth preparing itself to become a terrestrial world, which we don't know much of the science of that, but I've speculated what if part of that process is that the world actually gets warmer, and then when you become quickened, your body is such that you are able to withstand higher temperatures. So in other words, like, even though the world would be warmer, you wouldn't feel it because you'd be translated. Maybe that's just how it goes. Maybe in the grand scheme of things, the way that we've been living for the last 6,000 years, maybe it's really cold, which kind of makes sense to me because I just think along the lines of cold is defined as slower movement, um, a slower movement of atoms, right? Is it atoms themselves or is it molecules? I think it's atoms and the electrons. Um, temperature. No, I'm not going to look that up, but you know what I'm talking about. And so it would make sense that as you reach higher and higher states of heat, energy, so forth, uh, you're probably becoming more and more like the state of being that God is in. I would imagine. I could be wrong, but anyway, I'm just speculating that maybe the Earth is just preparing to become a terrestrial world, and it's going to be a warmer place. We're going to have different bodies. Maybe plant and animal life will look a lot different whenever the change takes place. We may not have really any idea what a paradisiacal state of being actually is or looks like. When we have these paintings that depict the Garden of Eden and stuff like that, that's based on our current world and what we kind of like visualize as a perfect setting, but maybe it doesn't look like that. Maybe it's even better, you know? So anyway, that's gonna be it for this. That's gonna be it for this one. I'm gonna keep an eye on these things. Like I said, I expect that it'll probably get a lot worse with the fires this summer. Right now we're in May, so probably June, July, especially August. So we got a ways to go before we're past the fire season. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe. Also, make sure to check out my last video. I did an interview today with Of One Heart. She's from Kansas. Her name is Elise, but she's from this area right here, the Kansas City area on the Kansas side. And she is doing a new channel. She's doing good stuff. So if you want more gospel-related content, make sure to check her out. I'll put her channel in the description below. I have another interview coming up on Wednesday, so I'm going to be talking to more of our sisters that are starting up social media accounts. Like this video if you liked it. Make sure to leave your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Also make sure to share it, and I'll talk to you guys later.